Okay, here we are, late December in Montana. Snowing hard outside. Trapped in, can't ride the bikes. Well, you could, I guess, if you wanted to ride through snow. Not quite that bold. But I was supposed to be in southern Arizona and southern Nevada, living in this on BLM property, riding my bike every day. Turned 65. Occasionally these medical issues creep up and they require some attention. So that is frustrating. So here we are. Had quite a few people talk to me about the bike and about what I did to it and where I'm at since I've got the issue resolved to pulling to the right, kind of what my plans are. But thought I'd talk a little bit about that here while we got some time, and we'll go from there. But yeah. So I'll start on the front, and I put this WRS windscreen on, threw the stock one away. I bought this from Baxter Cycle in Iowa. They were pretty good to deal with, really quick on the response. And they're very, very much into the Royal Enfield, Himalayan program with Fuzzy, driving all over the world on his. So that's pretty cool. Put these Bark Busters on. I've ridden a little bit with those. I like those so far. I've got these Rhino Walk front panniers on. They're pretty small. They say 6 liters. Yeah, okay. I carry my rain gear in them, and it's efficient. Keeps my panniers free. They work pretty good so far. I don't care for tank bags, so this is a small tank bag. I bought this on Amazon. I had a Moscow Moto tank bag on. I just didn't like that much, but this seems to work pretty good so far. For those of you who have actually looked at these things, this is a Viridian cruise control. That is pretty cool, and it works good. It works really good. I got heated grips on there. They're 3-position heated grips. Unfortunately, they're color identified for their intensity, and I'm not that great for my color, how I define colors. But they work good, and I can figure it out. And at least in the colder days in the fall in Montana when I was riding, they were really nice, for sure. I had the dealer install this skid plate and these crash bars. It's inevitable that I'm going to drop the bike. I've already dropped it once, but I hadn't hit the crash bars. But I do like them. They look like they give pretty good protection, for sure. You watch my last video, you already know I'm a Moscow Moto fanboy. And I had these on my GS 1250. And they're not cheap. I didn't want to buy another set, so I called Moscow up, and they just simply sent me the racks. A new set of racks, and I just swap them in between. I pull this pin, and I can go over to my GS 1250, slide them in there. So I've only got one set and 2 sets of racks. They swap back and forth, and that works pretty good. It's better than buying some new ones, because I'm only riding one bike at a time. But I love these things. I took them on the GS 1250 this summer. I put 7,000 miles on that bike, and I used these panniers, and they just unpin, and I can carry them in like luggage into the hotel or camping or whatever. So that was a lot of fun. That worked great. I don't know which bike I'm going to ride mostly this summer, but I'm thinking I'm going to ride this thing. So far, I really like it. I like the GS, but it doesn't just, I don't walk away from it and look back at it like I do this bike. It's hard to describe, but but it was enjoyable. I rode all over the Pacific Northwest with it and had a lot of fun. All right, the two biggest complaints with this bike is the kickstand, and then for those of you who have tried to fuel it, the fuel cap doesn't tilt all the way back, and there's a bar across the fuel inlet that doesn't allow you to put the fuel nozzle all the way in the cap. And it's just irritating. It's not a big deal, but it's just irritating when you're fueling it up, because if you don't get it just right, it sprays fuel back on the tank, and it's just a little bit goofy design. I don't know why they did that. I don't have all the answers for that, but it just seems odd. But this kickstand thing is pretty weird. Hey, I found this on eBay. This little extension here, I think I paid 70 bucks for it, and it's pretty good. It solved, I'd say, 80% of the problem, so I can live with it. Before, it was just a real pain, really. I didn't get that design, but whatever. So I bought this. I have a Garmin Zumu XT2, and I know that some folks have had problems with those, but I really like mine. I've not had any problem with it. I bought 3 mounts for it, one for my vehicle and 2 other for my other bikes, so I only have to buy 1 GPS. I bought that mount rear race off Amazon for $29 or $25 or something like that, and it just sits up in here. I hardwired it, pulled the tank, hardwired it, and put it back directly to the battery with an inline fuse, and it works perfectly right there. It's super solid, super solid. So that's going to work out awesome. And for me, I haven't had any problems with that Garmin XT2. It's super. I've used Garmin's for many, many years in the airplane and everything else, and I just don't have a problem with it. It's a little different, loading things, waypoints into it than your other stuff, but I got used to it pretty quick, and I love it. So it's going to be great. I don't use the navigation system on the bike. I just don't. I know some people have, but I just don't. I haven't even turned it on. I just use it as a regular tack and everything. So, and then I got this little thing. I think it's a Pewag is what the brand name is, and it just routes the air over the top of my head. It looks a little goofy, but it works really good, and it really kind of takes all the blast off my helmet and off my chest. So, no problem. Hey, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about riding this bike this summer and getting the snow done out of here. So anyway, comments, suggestions, ideas, feel free to let me know. I'm having a blast. I'm just dying for some better weather. I've got a long ways to wait. It's late December. If you're watching this, ride safe. Have a great Christmas. Super looking forward to 2026. It's going to be awesome. See ya.